Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. In this video, I will be showing you my Thomas Wooden Railway layout. This is my second Thomas Wooden Railway that I've made a video of on this channel. So, here we start at Tidmouth Sheds. Now the engines that are here are the ones that aren't anywhere else on the layout. So Edward, James, Toby, Emily, and Henry is over there, and also Terrence is visiting as well. There's also a house and that watermill over there. Okay, so we're gonna go the right way. So Tom Hat's also there. So we've got this area where Henry loads up on coal, or any other engine. Any engine can load up on coal here. We go this way. We're gonna go this way. Or no, we're gonna go this way. So this way, Neville is waiting here on the line, just sitting there. I've staged some engines in places that probably won't make any sense because it looks like they're just going to collide into each other if they keep going, but it's just for show, so that's why. So there's a switch track right here, and Stafford and Philip are working in the yard very hard, shunting the cars. So if we keep moving along here, we'll find Lady and a special coach. I know it's not very special, but it looks cool when Lady's pulling in, so. And Lady's one of my new engines, so most of my new engines and rolling stock will be included on this new layout, so these are two new items. So if we keep moving along this track, we go through a cross, but we're gonna go this way, and we arrive at the docks with Cranky, Salty, and the Sodor Bay tugboat. They're just chilling here. And my docks is very small. It's just this one line of track, and then it stops and goes into the ocean, I guess. But it's also, it would have been bigger if I had Porter, because then I would have two docks engines to, do a lot more. So, if we go along this line, then we have Murdoch here, and two cargo cars and a caboose. So he's just pulling a train, And the line that he's on is the Sodor Recycling Center. I know this is supposed to go with road, but I don't have that piece. So I just put it with Whiff. Because, he goes to this area. And if you see this, Whiff is kind of trapped, but it's fine. So that's the end of this line. So if we head all the way back over to here, and we head this way now, we have Percy shunting Gordon's coaches, and Gordon's waiting at Knapford Station with Bertie. Pretty neat. So Gordon's picking up passengers, getting ready to do his express run. And the line that's coming up is all express line. So this is all Gordon's line that travels through the whole island. This layout was mainly based on the map of Sodor. So, yeah, like the island map. So Tidmouth is near Knapford and Arlesburg, so yeah. If we keep moving along here, we come to the railroad crossing with Bulgy and Douglas. I guess Douglas is just waiting for Bulgy because he's so slow. But yeah, so if we keep going behind Douglas, then we go along this track and around here, then we find Arthur pulling some tankers. Arthur's one of my new engines, so he's on this layout as well. So, if we head up here, then we find two Sodor Bay bridges with Thomas on it. I always put Thomas on the Sodor Bay bridge if I have one on my layout. So Thomas was kind of needed there. So if we come down from the Sodor Bay bridge, then we head over, and now we're at Vickerstown Station. I know that says Farquhar, but I don't have Vickerstown Station, so I just made it Vickerstown Station. The line that Rusty's on is a narrow gauge line, so because he's at Crovan's Gate, which is right next to Vickerstown. So Spencer's sitting at Vickerstown because I guess he's from the mainland, so he's just here. So if we move to here, Rosie is in the special engine shed because these are the Vickerstown sheds near the shunting yard, which is where Rosie sleeps with Henry in the show. But since Henry's in Tidmouth Sheds in my series and all of my layouts, Rosie will be taking place in this shed because she works there. Rebecca's also here because she's a mainland engine. And I also put her here because she's one of my new engines. So I had to put her somewhere. And I didn't know where to put her, so just put her here with all the other guys and girls. So if we keep moving along here, we've got this oil depot here. Ignore that house behind it. I forgot to take it out. So this line that's right here goes into like a whole nother world. So we're gonna go to that later. So if we go up to this bridge, there are handles under it. We're gonna go down to one of the most insane pieces in the layout, and I really love it. So we keep heading down this line, and here's Molly. So if we follow this line, and also Molly's with everybody else here. This is the Arlesdale. This is where everybody meets. This is narrow gauge, standard gauge, miniature gauge. Like, all the gauges can meet here. You see Mike is up there, Trevor's there, Molly, old slow coach, Oliver, and yeah, it's really neat. So if we head up here, we go down this track. This heads to the ballast chute where Oliver is. So the ballast chute is also connected to the Arlesdale Railway, which is kind of a joke. It's just some sheds with the 3 of them that goes up to the ballast chute. That's the whole Arlesdale Railway. I didn't have enough track to build the rest of it, so I'm really sad that I couldn't expand this awesome railway. So that's Arlesdale, and I'm pretty sad about that. Maybe in the next layout, I will more focus on Arlesdale than anything else. But in this layout, I'm more focused on narrow gauge and standard gauge, and to make it accurate to the TV show and railway series. So, if we move along here, then we coming around, and there's Flora, one of my new characters. She is very beat up, and I know, but she's still neat. So, if we head along here, then we're back at Timmy's Sheds. And that was all of the narrow gauge, that was all the standard gauge layout. So now it's time that we go to narrow gauge. And I didn't make an incline or a quarry in this layout or a big Arlesdale layout in this layout because I didn't have enough track left. See, all of that track is just curves and like slope tracks. So or broken tracks. Most of those are broken tracks. So it's kind of sad that I can't build on to the rest of this railway. But I will work a lot more on it if I get any more tracks in the future. So we're gonna start at the narrow gauge sheds. Oh, of course this fell over. This signal never stays up. Okay, oh, it's staying up. Okay, so Peter Sam is here at the sheds, at this amazing place. We're gonna head this way. So if we head down here, we come to the Sodor Search and Rescue Center. I know, it's not supposed to be in the narrow gauge area, but this is the best place that I could do it in. So if we move along here, then we find Rheneas pulling some passengers. I know that coach looks pretty bad, but it's one of my only coaches, so keep moving along. We come around to here, and there's a little switch track here. We're going to move along that switch track where Sir Handel is. And if we come down here, after those 3 things, then we're at this place where Skarloey is with this coach. This is kind of the meeting area for the narrow gauge engines to bring passengers, and also for the standard gauge engines to bring passengers to drop off for the Arlesdale Railway. But I don't really have an Arlesdale Railway, so it's pretty sad. But it's also so they can all meet up here, and it kind of just stops. It makes for some really awesome shots and awesome scenes that I can do in future episodes, so that's why I made it. So, if we come back around here, then we can go to this switch track and come down here. That's just a random track. I don't know why that's there. So, this shed right here, this is the Steamworks. If we come around to this side, then Victor is here, who is one of my new characters, and he is fixing up Duck here because Duck was in a bad accident, I guess. I don't know. That's for another story. But the switch track from the standard gauge line goes into here and then into the narrow gauge line. It's dual gauge, but the narrow gauge dual gauge doesn't come out till like right here. So Victor can't really just roam the rails. but it's dual gauge, so that's why Duck is also here. But no standard gauge engines can go past right here. They can't go onto this track. So if we head along this track, which comes right out of the Steamworks, so Victor can travel along the railway, we come to Crovan's Gate, which is also at Vickerstown. Rusty is lying here, very happy to be talking with some friends. I guess he's meeting Spencer because I've never seen them interact together, but okay. If we keep going along here, then we come to this oil depot. This is for like engines like Rusty to fill up with fuel because he doesn't take on coal and water. I'm just now realizing that this says Diesel Works, but I don't have a Diesel Works on this layout because I don't have too many diesels. I don't really focus on using the diesels a lot because they're not very popular. So, if we keep coming up here, then we come to this little mountain where Coldy is, or little hill where Coldy's going up. With Catherine. I know, I don't have Catherine. She's probably my next wooden railway that I'll be getting, because this looks just hilarious because I don't have a Catherine. This is just a coach that I made from one of those custom coaches. So, Catherine. I need Catherine. So, if we come along this track, then we come to the Quarry Mine Tunnel. I think it's the Quarry Mine Tunnel. I'm not sure what it is. But then we go straight into this Echo Tunnel that I have. I don't know what it's called either. I'm calling it the Echo Tunnel. But it looks like Duncan's hiding in here. So, Duncan's having a good time in there. If we come out to here, then we have a switch track that leads into more areas for the engines to rest. If we come back out here and come over here, then we're back at the sheds where Peter Sam was resting. Or still is resting. And we've covered every single inch of track in this layout. So, let's go look at an overhead view of the whole thing. Here's the layout. Yeah. There was a lot of space in the middle for me to sit down if I need to film episodes. But since I don't have enough track to film, I can't fill this in with things like an incline. I can try and build an incline, but if I did, then it would cover up all these places and I wouldn't be able to film them. But I'll try and figure it out. Oh, and I also forgot to show you this. This is Jeremy's airport here. The Sodor Airport. Jeremy is not here right now because my Jeremy's tail wing broke off, so my dad was super gluing it, so it's drying off right now. So that's why Jeremy's not here. Let's just pretend Jeremy is taken on a flight and he's going somewhere else to deliver his passengers. So that was my whole Thomas Wooden Railway layout for this time. I hope to keep this one for longer than my last one. But here are some of the locations that I didn't make in this layout, like the Sodor Signal House and the Scrub and Shine building. I also didn't use my Christmas crossing over there, or this turntable that I was going to use for the narrow gauge engines, but then I came up with this. If you guys want to ask some more questions about this, then sure, I'll answer some. And if you guys have any suggestions for things that I can add on to the layout, these are just curves and a couple switches and slope tracks. So if you have any suggestions, then please tell me in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye! Thanks for watching. Subscribe today.